Good day, Father Matt Williams here. I hope you're doing well on this Friday of the third week of Lent. So, in today's gospel, we're reading from Mark's Gospel, chapter 12, verse 28. A scribe comes up to Jesus and he asks him this question. He says, which is the first of all the commandments? And you know what Jesus quotes back to him? It's called the Shema. And the Shema was a liturgical prayer that the pious Jew prayed at least twice a day, in the morning and the evening. And it goes like this. O Israel, hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is Lord alone. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your mind, and with all your strength. The Shema. Now it's interesting. Why would the pious Jew pray that twice a day? Well, it's a sign of devotion. It expresses their belief in the one God, that there is God and that the Lord is God and there is no other. And it also reflects the reality that we're called to love God with all mind, heart, soul, and strength. And lastly, if you think about it, we are so frail and fragile and capable of going astray. And by rooting themselves in this prayer, both morning and evening, they're constantly going back to that covenant relationship, that family bond, that sacred bond that they have with the Lord and who they are. The Lord has revealed himself to them, and he's taught them what it means to be human, what it means to be his people, what it means for him to be their God. And so by praying that prayer, they're constantly brought back to this relationship of who God is and who they are, and that apart from God, they're nothing. But with God, they are everything. They have everything that they need. And I think the same is true for us. That's why prayer is so important. Because if we don't pray, then God goes off the radar screen. And if we're not keeping God on the radar screen, we can start to worship other things, false gods. We can have other idols. The first commandment in 10 Commandments, you shall have no other gods besides me. And we are created to worship. We are created to worship God. Like man and woman are naturally religious. You look at all of the great the people of all the great nations, the great continents around the world, even before the coming of Jesus, right? There's an expression of worship there, of a desire to worship a being greater than themselves. In Revelation, that special unveiling, God unveils himself, right? It lifts the veil. God reveals who he is to his people, shows us who the true God is, and that there is no other. And to be honest, if we're not rooted in that, if we're not rooted in our friendship with Jesus through prayer, we'll worship other things. I will. You name it. What is your flavor? What do you like? You'll worship something else. That's the way it is, because we were created to worship God. We were created to worship something greater than ourselves. And if we're not rooted in prayer with our eyes fixed on Jesus, I'm going to worship people, places, or things. I'm going to be about satisfying my heart with all the things my flesh desires, instead of satisfying my heart with the love of Jesus Christ and taking time out. Therefore, the Shema, as Jesus articulates, this is the greatest commandment. Now I want you to listen to this again, okay? It's a profession of faith and a prayer. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is Lord alone. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, and with all your strength. That's what we're called to do today. So I don't know how your Lent is going, but I know you can always begin again right now. And I invite you, as you continue on in this Lenten journey, to up your prayer ante, to make time to pray both in morning and in evening. Take significant time out, or take some time out to pray and get centered and rooted in the Lord, because he is the God and there is no other. And if we don't do that, then we fall into the danger of having false idols. And the reality is that the false idols never ever satisfy. Only Jesus satisfies the hungry heart. He is the bread of life. He in the Eucharist satisfies the hungry heart. So let's run to Jesus today. Run to the Blessed Sacrament if you can. Run to Holy Mass. Run to him in prayer, because he waits for you. He waits for me. He desires to feed us with his word and with his very body. He wants to satisfy our hungry hearts. God bless you. Please pray for me as I pray for you. Follow me on Twitter, Father Matt for Boston. And until the next time, have a great day.